So throughout this week and throughout the last week, I actually planned to upload around 3 to 6 videos of EVE Echoes, but I lost about 70 to 80 gigabytes of footage that I had prepared. Now, if you're wondering what happened, I kept all that footage on my backup PC, because I always run out of storage on my devices because of recording all the time. And the second I finished transporting the files from my phone to my backup PC, to my storage PC, the PC died. Now I don't know if the hard drive died, I'm basically just waiting for that thing to be repaired, but if the hard drive died, RIP. That would be permanently lost around 80 gigabytes I believe, maybe more. Not only EVE Echoes, but also other games besides EVE. But 80 gigabytes of footage just of this game. So that's pretty much the reason of the little absence throughout this week and last week, even though I said that I'll be having a lot more. So yeah, that's what happened. And it took me some time to actually assemble enough footage for a new video, so this is pretty much record all after my little issue that I had. Now if the hard drive ends up being okay, then I will definitely upload those videos that I prepared and basically compile those into 3 to 6 different videos for this game. If not, well, I mean, then I just have to record new ones on top of that. So yeah, lesson learned, don't trust my PC, because usually when I trust my computer, my PC, something like this happens. And this is not the first time that I lost good footage. I actually had, I don't know, maybe 10 hours of combat recorded or something like that. I had a lot, unfortunately, that's lost for now. But yeah, I mean, I'll attempt to somehow, at least if the old one is lost, I'll attempt to get the new one. Anyway, that's what happened, and today I'll be flying the usual stuff, usual ships, but the targets will be a little bit different, and I think there is going to be one new ship that I will be using a lot more than usual. But first, let's warm up and let's go see what we have here. Now I believe we have an Astero. We have scanned the Astero earlier, but I think I was a little bit too slow to pick my ship. Now this time I'm prepared. I did scan both of the exploration sites within the system, so it's not going to be a big problem for me to just warp and see what's lurking inside. And there is an Astero. Okay. Now this is not usually my build for hunting exploration ships. Actually, I should find a day where I have free time and go hunt these exploration ships. Should be quite interesting and should be quite profitable. I haven't done that in a while. But usually I have a micro warp drive instead of an afterburner, because I'm trying to catch a frigate and they're usually faster, and the Stratos isn't really known for its speed. But since I didn't have time to prepare myself properly, I just have to use the current fit that I already have. Now, I did rush a little bit, admittedly, but I was able to get within range on time, scrambled and bugged, and the Astero is caught. Okay, that's first catch of the day. Let's see if we can get the pods. I guess not. Well, unfortunately, no expensive scanners. I mean, those expensive scanners definitely are avoiding me. Honestly, in the last exploration, the last couple Asteros that I've destroyed didn't carry any. And when they do carry, and when I do catch them, the module doesn't drop. So yeah, but when we lose a ship, oh, we drop everything. That's something I noticed within our corporation and with some of my friends. When we lose ships, we drop everything, but when we destroy a ship, the most expensive stuff does not drop. 974 million ISK, Astero, not bad. Now they had 2 scanners, thankfully they didn't scan, they didn't see me around, partially because I was probably cloaked. Maybe they did click on the red scanner while I was in the station, so they didn't see any signals, so that could potentially be the case. Now we have another exploration ship here, a Heron. But the Heron warped. Okay, well, I'm cloaked. Maybe they have actually seen me warping in, or maybe not. I don't really know. But is it just me, or has the game been crashing a lot lately? Maybe I need to do a client repair. Maybe that'll fix it. But I think it actually crashed while I was recording this particular encounter here. Because I remember when I was, I think it was this encounter, when I was trying to catch a Heron and the game just crashed while I was about to tackle it. I think this is pretty much what happened. Now there is two sites, pretty much a heaven for, current heaven for hunting exploration ships. Although I kind of want to go a little bit deeper into LowSec to do this type of thing, because usually the more expensive Asteros are
warp drive active.
Deeper into LowSec, or even in NullSec in some systems. I know a couple sectors, couple regions where is usually pretty clear. There is the Heron at 0. Well, let's go after it. That's actually a mistake on the Heron's part for landing at 0. Never land on 0 while doing exploration, and when you have stuff in local. And there it is. The game crashed. I actually thought, you know, sometimes it just freezes for a second and then goes back, but nope. This was a fully fledged total freeze, and it refuses to boot now. Alrighty then. Yes. Do you see this? Like, it refused to let me in. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And this happens on like 3 of my devices. Actually, no. I haven't installed the game on my best device. I'm still using my older device to play this game on, the S23. That's pretty much what I'm running this game on at the moment. I have the tablet, which does have the game on, but haven't downloaded all the assets. That's one thing I have to do. But yeah, I haven't tried the game out on the 8 Elite phone. Although I'm not really expecting all performance on the 8 Elite device. That thing can run PC games full speed without a problem. So, and yeah, of course, they will not wait for me. That's expected. They are already warped off and left the system while I am trying to log back into the game. Lovely. But it's just a Heron. Nothing, you know, it's just a Heron, not a big loss here. Not a big loss. It's annoying that it happened. I wish I caught a Heron. But, you know, it happens, I guess. So it's still annoying though when stuff like it should be tackled as we usually do. Although, if you want to do the log off trap, that also works. But if the target refuses to leave the station while you're in local, like if that's the case, then it's best to have someone else to do the tackling. And am I lagging? I'm lagging quite a bit. Not gonna lie. Both ping and both other, I guess, other issues. My ping has been atrocious lately. If you've seen some of other games I play, you actually see the ping. It's always in the red. So, yeah, horrible ping on my end, and obviously horrible weather as well. Over here where I'm going to live. Already going to snow in a couple days. Lovely. I hate snow. But the Orthrus has been tackled. So there is the Orthrus. Let's go after it. Let's rush the Orthrus. Have sweet drones for the Mordu Legion cruiser. I do love the Orthrus. I love to have the Orthrus as a target. I also love to fly the Orthrus. Such a good ship. I need to go back to that thing and use it a little bit more often. However, Bombard is going to remain Bombard, and that Orthrus got eaten alive by the drones. Yikes. There are a couple of ships that I don't like to engage. The Dummy Navy is one ship I don't like to engage. Prophecy Commands are definitely on the second list, and Myrmidon Command Battlecruisers. They are nasty. They're both tanky passively and actively. If you have a passive or active tank, both work. And they have a disgusting amount of DPS with the Bombard implant. I do hate this implant, even though I use it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of one-click magic button full DPS implants. I'm a fan of the old school evacos, of the old school of the combat system without implants. I'm still hoping that implants are going to be reworked so that they're more balanced and actually, and that the game actually is more similar to what the game used to be back in the day. But I'm still playing it, so you know, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It's just like a thorn in your eyes, right? You're just poking your eye, even though you still enjoy the game. But I guess no game is perfect, which is fine at the end of the day. Honestly, I expected a lot more risk out of the Orthrus based on some of the other ships that I've seen. I think from that point, I actually expected at least a 9 billion ISK Orthrus, because I think last time when we caught a ship like that, we got a 9 billion one. That was a lot, not too early, but that was actually a long time ago, I believe. It was quite some time ago. So yeah, that's the
docking request accepted.
My expectation wasn't really met with this order, but you know, not a big deal. Still a very nice catch. Always nice to catch a Mordu Legion boat. Next we're warping to something. Serpentis Explosive Ruins. Oh, I do remember what's oh, I know what's about to happen here. Oh, I definitely know what's about to happen here. Okay. We have a Pacifier. Lovely. So, Pacifier is right over here. Now, it's smelled bait. I think the Pacifier was a fiend earlier, although I didn't really have enough time to play, and when I scanned, they already left the system. So that's what. But the Pacifier is still a relatively rare ship, and it's a CONCORD ship, which means that the Pacifier will have a nice little price tag attached to it. So always nice to have such juicy ships around, and I'm definitely not going to say no to a CONCORD frigate. Now that's a micro warp drive. That's a very speedy Pacifier. I'm in an afterburner fit, so it will be quite problematic for me. I need to be very, very careful to be close. However, I'm not really worried. I have friends for support when it comes to a more difficult tackle like this. It's always safer to launch something equally as fast as a Pacifier. In this case, that would be a little interceptor. So I'm just waiting patiently right now. They're definitely opening the boxes. I'm getting a little bit worried that they might be already finishing up. I'm just pretty much praying at this moment that they don't warp off. But it seems they are not warping off. They're actually doing something I did not quite anticipate, and they're doing something I did not quite expect. They went and tackled the interceptor. Now that's a big mistake, primarily because the interceptor will be several times faster than the Pacifier. Pacifier will have close range weapons usually. Definitely is not going to be able to catch a very fast slasher interceptor that's going to be orbiting at quite distance. So they're permanently pointed, long range disruptors. I'm too slow, but my drones are not too slow. I don't have to tackle the Pacifier in this case, because it's already tackled, I can just leave the drones, do the work, and CONCORD frigate has been destroyed. Nice. Let's take a look at what we have in the wreck. Let's take a look at what we have in the wreck. Could be expensive, could be a cheap build, you never know. However, one thing is for certain, it's a CONCORD frigate with a relatively large market price. Oh look, disruptors. Now my interest is piqued. I'm actually very curious to see the build of the Pacifier. Was it a PvP build or a PvE exploration build, or was it both? Well, let's find out. Sand build is not bad, about what we expect on the market. Well, one long-range disruptor and... well, I guess it was exploration plus PvP, or maybe even baiting into the exploration sites. Although I feel like 1 point is a little bit too low. Even the exploration frigates are usually stabbed. So I would still go with a Stratius for hunting exploration ships, because I can have a blue scanner and I can also have a bunch of scramblers and even a red scanner if necessary.
Docking request
but it was
accepted.
a good catch though. No timer because we caught the ship with a timer, so I can immediately dock. That was a good catch. That was a fantastic tackle and a very good catch at the same time. Okay. Let's go and see what we have next. Now this is a ship that I started to fly quite recently. It is a Abaddon bomber. Now I kept saying this for a while, that I used the Hyperion bomber primarily because I had a core for it. A repair nano core for it. Basically extra 75% repairs. And the repairs on that thing are pretty insane, pretty crazy, able to repair like 50,000 armor every cycle, every 4 seconds. But when it comes to the overall tankiness, I would still say that the Abaddon bomber is definitely the tankiest and chunkiest bomber battleship in the game. It has a very high natural resistance on armor, coming from the skill bonuses of course, but most importantly, you do get energy neutralization resistance bonus from the skills, which I would say is probably the rarest skill bonus that you have in the game at the moment. So this ship is kind of perfect for extremely heavy tank, and also very difficult to cap out a Abaddon bomber because of the resistance on E-War. Now we have a Bhaalgorn, just perfect. I mean, this is the most perfect and ideal target for the ship, because again, energy neutralization, energy warfare resistance, so resistance on Nosferatus and neutralize. Of course, the Bhaalgorn will still be the most powerful energy neutralization and energy Nosferatu ship in the game, because it's a Blood Raider after all, but with all the resistance and stuff like that on E-War, nanocores, in this case implant, and plus on top of that the skill stuff that you get with the Abaddon makes the Bhaalgorn a little bit underwhelming nowadays, which is sad because Blood Raiders used to be one of my favorite ship class in the game, favorite overall faction in the game. But hey,
warp drive active.
I'm flying this thing, super tanky, super chunky, relatively cheap builds. I might go wild in the future on the Abaddon bomber, depending how long it lives. If it does keep on living, I'll keep the build, but if it ends up being blown up, which I expect to happen actually, then I will probably change the build on the Abaddon bomber and slap some more expensive rigs on it and get even more resistance out of it. But overall, very certain it can tank up to a Dreadnought quite easily with the stats that I roll on this thing currently. The Bhaalgorn has been caught, and let's go and approach. Let's approach to 0. Webbed, I have a Scrambler as well. Obviously you have the Citadel module, which I like to call the Bastion module, because the bomber battleships in this game are kind of kind of the Marauders of EVE Echoes. Technically, they would be the Marauder class in EVE Online, but in this game, I guess they decided to call them a little bit different, and they decided to use a slightly different hull. But overall, I would say when it comes to tankiness, the Abaddon bomber is probably the tankiest and the best. When it comes to tank, at least. Armor, very energy saving, because its armor doesn't use as much capacitor as shield, and on top of that you do get the bonuses on capacitor through the Cylinder module. On top of that you also have a huge capacitor, which makes it just perfect for a super heavy chunky build for maximum resistance and for tank. Or in short, a perfect ship for me, because I love tanky ships, which is a little bit sad. I kind of wish I picked a nanocore for the Abaddon back in the day back when we won the Burning Knight nanocores. I wish I picked one for myself. I wish I took two for myself. I would definitely pick the second one for the Abaddon. But hey, I still have the Hyperion. I might actually sell the Hyperion. The only reason why I haven't done that yet is because I have the nanocore for it, and I just don't want the nanocore to sit there idle. So I guess I have the nanocore on the Hyperion because of that, or because of that reason. In any case, the Bhaalgorn is now trying to empty my cup. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's not happening. And funny enough, I have a Blood Red nanocore for this ship, which does enhance the efficiency of my Nosferatus, and I have two of them. So this is kind of a pretty evil build currently, because it's capacitor stable, 100% capacitor stable on 100% capacitor, with dual Nosferatus and extra efficiency on the Nosferatus. So from top to bottom, this little ship is pretty much specialized for tanking in this case, and I love it. I do like how this thing runs so far. It's a very, very fun ship to use. I love it. And the Bhaalgorn has been destroyed. Okay, now my DPS might not be the highest on this thing, but honestly the DPS, it doesn't matter, because it will outlast literally every other battleship. You fight by outlasting your opponent. That's how this ship is built, and you can definitely outlast all of them because of the ridiculous tank that it has. 3.7 billion ISK Bhaalgorn, not bad, actually not a bad value, decent value. Good catch, and that was actually pretty fun. I wish I had this ship, I wish I did fly this ship earlier, because there's been some occasions where maybe me flying this ship would end up in a better result, in a better outcome. But hey, I mean, now I'm prepared pretty much. If I wasn't prepared before, now I am pretty much ready. Now I am pretty much prepared for most situations. One situation that I am not prepared for would be super capitals, I guess. But honestly, if this thing gets super capitals dropped on it, that's just peak salt already. So that would be. It wouldn't matter really. I mean, if that happens, it happens. I don't care really. You can't avoid these ships forever. Eventually, you will stumble upon a super capital. A carrier or something like that isn't a problem, but super capitals are definitely a ship class that I feel like did the same thing that alien ships and destroyers did in a different game I used to play a long time ago. With the difference being that over here we do have a chance of having this balanced. In that other game, there's simply no chance of that happening. So I still hope that the developers watching these videos, I know at least one of them is watching. They decide to do the right thing and nerf all these nasty, crazy DPS numbers that we see in the game. And honestly, if that happens, maybe even some tank nerf can happen at the same time, because if they do nerf the DPS, then all the crazy tank wouldn't be as necessary as it is now. And I'm fine with that. If they nerf DPS and tank at the same time for balancing purposes, I would be pretty fine with it. And of course, I was late for this one. I especially cloned to try to get on time here, but I was late for the Apocalypse Navy. Good catch though, was a good catch. I was just a little bit too late. One thing I like about this ship is its speed. And honestly, the reason why I actually didn't fly battleships for a very long time is the speed. Being fast and maneuverable and mobile with a cruiser or frigate or something like that meant much more to me than having big DPS numbers or having a huge tank. Flying a cruiser was pretty much the ideal thing for me for our systems and for what we do. Cruisers are simply the perfect ideal ships for basically general purpose. Bubble ships, cover top ships, that's what I would say works the best for us. Obviously, having battleships is nice, and having battleships as support or DPS or tank or even bait is also really good. But from my experience, I personally enjoyed the game much more through the eyes of a cruiser, or should I say through the experience of a cruiser. I still want a semi-tanky normal cover tops cruiser that I can fly. I have a Fiend that I had actually some very good encounters with. I had a lot of fun with that ship. I still need to fly the Fiend a lot more, but I kind of want to have a other cloaky ship that's also built for tanking, that can kind of tank like the Fiend. I have an idea for that, but I need more risk. I need to sell more stuff to get it to work.
Enemy ships detected.
Anyway, let's do a little old school encounter here. I'm in a Blackbird and our target will be a Caracal. Lovely. Now when I say old school, I would say the most fun that you can get right now in the game is low tier ship versus low tier ship with no implants, no nanocores, just pure skill, pure knowledge of how to fly the ships and your build basically. The way it should be. Old school way, the way it should be. In this case, dual tracking, dual guidance disruptor, because we're talking about missiles, means that the missile parameters of the Caracal will be severely crippled, and that means I can kite. I honestly miss encounters like this a lot. It is really a lot more fun to play the game like this, much more simple without so many implants and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why I will always engage a low tier ship like this, because it's just more fun. It's honestly a lot more, it's refreshing actually, not to have to rely on implants, not to have to worry about stabs, not have to worry about these things, just pure fun. And if this thing pops eventually, I expect it will pop eventually, I would be able, I'd replace it in a second basically, because it doesn't cost anything. Cheap ship, and that's all I honestly need at the end of the day to have fun. And speaking of which, when I log back in after recording this video, I will do something pretty funny and pretty stupid actually. I'll buy a couple ships, I'll build a couple ships, and I'll use a couple ships. I'm not gonna see which ships though. I'll just leave that for a little surprise for the future. Hopefully I'll be able to do what I intended to do with these things. I hope that's going to be the case. But that's gonna be a surprise for one of the next videos, hopefully. Hopefully a surprise. Now, can you still dock with timer? Yes, you can. I always check this. Every update I do check this, because you never know when it will be patched or if it's ever going to be patched. Technically it shouldn't be patched because you're not really breaking any bug, or you're not really abusing any bugs when you dock with timer. You just risk getting popped by sentries if your connection messes up. And next we have a Vigilant, and this should be, I believe this is the last target for today. Anyway, it sucks that I lost like 80 gigabytes of footage, because I did have some very fun encounters with the Fiend, very fun encounters with other ships, very fun encounters with the Stratios. I had some very fun encounters with the Dominavi as well. Overall, it was really... I was looking forward to make these videos, but... Hey, my PC said no, you're not gonna make anything today. You have to record all over again. So yeah, hopefully and the hard drive is fine. Hopefully that's if the hard drive is fine, I'm going to be making a lot more of these. I'll basically go and catch up to what I promised. If I can keep the promise, I will. If I can't keep the promise, well, I'm sorry, but that was unfortunately something totally unplanned, and it just came out of the blue. Which honestly started happening quite often to me lately. Stuff that I don't expect to just pop and ruin my day, basically. That's what's been happening. In any case, that would be it for today, I believe. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that, stay safe, play safe. As always, I'll see you next time.